Hey yo, what is up Knights? Aegis Rick here with the update brought to us on the 17th of January. And of course, this is the one a lot of us have been dreaming of. Season 3, Act 1, Pandemonium, or in other words, 90 cap. Woo! Now we've got a ton of stuff to discuss, but I want to keep this video as short as possible. So just keep in mind that I may be a little bit vague on some things here and there. So make sure to read the official patch notes in the description below. And maybe more importantly, check out these updates for yourself in game. But without further ado, let's go. So we'll start off with what you probably want to hear about. The Pandemonium region and 90 cap itself. To kind of summarize, it's everything that you'd expect with a level cap increase. We've got an expansion zone added to Zelva for loot content and a few brand new zones to house this 90 content called the Pandemonium Outpost and Central Park. In total, there are 5 new basic dungeons, 2 new special dungeons, and Luke normals, currently considered the true endgame content even above Noble Sky and Anton. Now of course there is a relatively long and winding scenario, taking you through most all of these dungeons in a unique way, that has you going partway through a scenario and then switching dungeons halfway through. It's recommended that you party and share your scenarios with at least one other person, because if you solo the whole way, you'll be vastly short of reaching the goal of 90 cap. At level 90 there will also be a side quest to give you a new equipment slot called the Earring, which functions much like the sub-equip in Magic Stone in terms of stats. The special dungeons are also of note. The Bloody Lane dungeon allows you to farm purification stones in order to turn into the Hunter Vaughn NPC for region-specific legendary gear. There is a legendary accessory mean set as well as a unique weapon called your Reconstruction weapon, which can then be upgraded to legendary grade and can be considered maybe a more potent Halidom weapon with a sizable amount of crit. There is also a special dungeon called the Pandemonium Rift, which costs an increasing amount of an item called the Refined Terranium to enter. You fight 3 unique Hell mobs, and the boss works almost like Invoked Hell mode, and drops fragments and epics from level 85 to 90. Just note that this dungeon is no joke, and because the drops are individualized, it is recommended that you party up to take this dungeon down. You can enter 5 times a day, costing 2 Refined Terranium for your first 3 runs, and 3 for your last 2. Speaking of epics, 90 epics have been added, giving 1 new weapon for every weapon type, and at least 1 new set for every group of gear, with some random potent epics thrown here and there. It goes without saying that these new 90 epics are very often find themselves as the new best in slot for most classes and sets, but there are a couple of other nuances about epics and hell modes that have to be discussed. First off, the 90 epics are unique in and of themselves, because they introduce the idea of partial armor sets. Now, if you get 3 corresponding armor pieces of the same set, you get a partial set effect, and then another one at the full 5 set. This is huge because up until now you needed every single piece of an armor set to get the full set effects. Compound this on the fact that each individual piece is often massively potent on its own, and you have a much easier time gearing up your characters than before, relatively speaking. Aside from the epics themselves, however, Hell mode itself has also been adjusted. Gone are the days where you have to pray that you avoid hardcore Hell mode. Instead, there is only 1 Hell mode difficulty, and it's said that it's even harder than Insane, with an even higher drop chance than before. A huge boon there, boys. It did come at a slight nerf, however. We no longer get rare grade equipment from Hell mode, and thus the only things that drop are epics, their epic fragments, demon invites, and occasionally the Hell Orb. The Metro Center Hell Orb, by the way, gives an unprecedented 500 demon invites. Disassembling epics no longer gives Demon Eyes, but instead all epics give 1 epic soul, which are account bound like all other souls. You can then trade a soul to 100 demon invites or 20 demon challenges. In other words, it's a pretty big nerf to demon challenges. However, a change every one of us knew was coming, so no surprises there. Grandis is there to handle all of the conversions of Demon Eyes that you may still have lying around at this new rate. And that, Knights, is all I really have to say about 90 cap. Not saying that there isn't a lot, because it's taken me up until now to get to 90, and I've got to do this on a lot more characters. But even yet, you've got a lot to look forward to in terms of leveling, gearing, and harder content like Luke. What are you waiting for, dude? But now that we've gotten the huge summary out of the way, let's also remember that this update brought with it a lot of quality of life changes as well to characters and other systems. Let's go over that next. Now for characters, a ton of them got updated. I'm not going to sit here and go through all of that. Check them at your own discretion on the official patch notes. As a summary, while we didn't see too many overarching changes to the playstyles of most classes that were affected, we did see more or less sweeping buff to some of the characters' damage. I'm talking on average 15 to 30% damage increases across the board depending on the class. Looking at the male ranger and male striker for instance, hell, they seem to have gotten upwards of 40 to 50% damage increases. Damn! Some chronicles have also been adjusted to reflect some of the changes and have even increased the potency of some swap chronicle sets. So again, make sure to give all those details a look on the official update page. Now onto some systems and what I consider a nerf of sorts, which is pretty rare in this update. Sirius' compound system was redone and probably not in a good way. Now you can no longer put into the system any gear that is not sealed. This also includes items that have been resealed. You can't put those items in either. Only sealed, unopened gear are allowed. On top of that, you've lost the option to compound gear into the same type. For instance, if I put a sub-equipment here, I could get back a sub-equipment or I could get back a magic stone. Weapons are even worse. If you put in a weapon, you can get back literally any weapon of any type. The RNG and pool of items has increased massively, and thus nobody has any idea of what items they can get. I guess the one upside is that Anton legendaries are now eligible for the system, and compounding a level 85 to a 90 legendary is currently one of the only ways to get them, as they otherwise only drop in Luke normals. Now while Sirius' compound system was changed, Grandis got brand new systems of her own called transcending and sealing of items. Basically, transcending a piece of gear allows you to mail it to another character on your account at the cost of some souls of the same grade as your equipment and some high grade elemental crystals. Sealing does much the same at much the same cost. In fact, I'm kind of flabbergasted because transcending a piece of gear to give to one of my alts is massively more expensive than resealing it to make it become tradable to everyone. Did they get this shit backwards or something? Anyway, I've got no idea what formulas that they're using for this, and quite frankly, at this massive cost, it is still widely more accessible to use items like the Transcendent Stones and Golden Candles whenever possible. However, this system is exactly what allows you to trade your epics over to your alts, which is finally possible, but at a severe cost. Moving over here, Dark Elf Ruins was neutered in terms of difficulty. I'd say all mobs, bosses, and gruff have only a fraction of the HP that they had before, basically meaning that most everyone should be able to do 4-star no problem. They've even taken out some of the more annoying gimmicks in place of some simpler ones. The gruff system has also been changed, basically showing on the minimap where he is, and even allowing you to skip it completely if you so choose, which is great. The fight itself has been made easier, and I'd imagine most people can one-cycle him if sufficiently geared. In conclusion, Dark Elf Ruins is much easier with the same rewards. The card compounding system here at Abello has been made more along the lines of the gem compound system in guild dungeons. Showing now are the rates of upgrading a card to the next grade. You can put 2 uniques to get another unique, up to 3 rares to try and upgrade to a unique, up to 4 uncommons to get rare, and up to 5 commons to get uncommon. And whew, I think that more or less covers the changes, guys. And like I said, I may have missed something, but this video is getting kind of long. So let's go ahead and finish up with some events, and I gotta say, they really skimped out on them surprisingly. Looking here on the events page, it's clear that we don't have very many of them. That being said, there will be some kind of mini update coming next week to give us some kind of hell event that will be dropping partial demon invites, but only time will tell on that one. What we have now though is the junk collector. In optimal level dungeons, you'll come across a lot of trash, and heaps of it. Clean it up by picking up these items, then talk to Kiki here in Syria's room to turn them in for various prizes. Kiki only shows up, by the way, in Pandemonium Outpost in the Central Park Syria's room. Each level past 86 will reward you with 400 Pandemonium trash as well, making farming all of the items in the event extremely trivial, so long as you're leveling multiple characters. Lots of great stuff in here, by the way, including demon invites, refined terraniums, and purification stones. The daily gift program is back, which basically rewards you for signing in and doing at least one optimal level dungeon for each of these prizes. I really can't explain it any better, so mainly we've got a silver amplification grimoire at 36 days, and a reinforcement and amplification protection tickets for days 41 and 42. The renewal premium is probably the biggest event right now because it rewards players with tons of opportunity to get Neo Premium Plus. You just have to do optimal level dungeons and remember to pick them up by clicking on this page. It's a pretty big deal considering you're probably dying to level as quickly as possible, and Neo Premium is a must if that's your you're concerned. Speaking of Neo Premium, that has also seen a slight change. Periodically, mobs will drop Neo Premium tokens if you have a Neo Premium Plus contract active. You can use these tokens at Canna's new token machine, which acts as a sort of baby lost treasure, with some of the items shown here. A nifty bonus to go on top of all of the other ones that Neo Premium gives. Honey Time is back, baby, with the Honey Time plan. This time we're getting Pandemonium related items such as Refined Terranium, and now we also have the accumulated time rewards back, those being character expansion slots, feat clear tickets, more Neo Premium contracts, and finally one quest legendary box. Lastly, let's look at the cash shop because a few things were added there. There is a DFO pension system here in the limited items tab, and I suggest getting it ASAP to reap all the rewards. You merely have to log in every day while you own the pension item to get these rewards as listed here, and honestly for $2 it's a pretty damn good deal. Lastly, the lost treasures have been updated again with our most common lost treasure items to date. Hell Orbs, of which have 500 and 1000 demon invites in them respectively for the silver and gold prizes. But anyway guys, this is an enormous update in a nutshell. Remember though that despite us getting a lot of stuff here, this is still titled part 1 of a series of updates sure to come. There are a lot of things of which were not yet discussed and I'm sure you're waiting for, such as the 3 male mage subclasses. But for now, I'm done. I need to get back to leveling, but I hope this video has helped you and I will catch you knights later.